Cool day, creepies! So welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, I am ReAnimateHer, your queen of scream. If you love horror movies, discussions, and deep dives into the genre, you're in the right place. So grab your popcorn, dim the lights, and let's get into it. We all know the big horror villains, Freddy, Jason, Michael, Ghostface. These guys dominate the genre. But what about the horror villains who never got the love they deserved? Why do some terrifying, well-crafted characters end up forgotten while others become legends? Today, we're diving into horror villains who should have been icons but got left in the shadows. We'll break down why some villains get overlooked and spotlight 3 that definitely deserve more love. Victor Crowley from Hatchet, Angela Baker from Sleepaway Camp, and Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask. Let's get spooky. Before we dive into specific villains, let's talk about why some horror villains get left behind. There are a few key reasons. Trends and timing. Horror goes through phases. Slashers were huge in the 80s, but by the 2000s, audience were more into psychological horror, supernatural horror, and films like Saw and Hostel, which made it pretty big in mainstream horror. Marketing and hype. We know that this can hurt or help a movie. Some movies barely got a theatrical release, so they didn't get to reach a wide audience. Others had bad marketing that made people skip them entirely. Marketing, I think, is very huge. Overshadowed. If there was a new villain that dropped during a time where the horror giants were thriving, they did not stand a chance, even if their marketing was good. But their marketing would have to be 10 times as good, you know? Niche appeal. Some horror villains come from movies that were experimental, misunderstood, or just too ahead of their time. Now that we know why villains get overlooked, let's talk about some horror villains who deserve way more love. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to let you know, if you want even more horror content, consider joining my channel memberships. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive horror deep dives, a serial killer discussion, and even more behind-the-scenes content from my murder basement. Click the join below to become part of the Haunted Circle and support the channel. First up, let's talk about Victor Crowley. This dude is brutal. He's a massive swamp-dwelling, hatchet-wielding slasher played by the legend Kane Hodder. Yup, the same guy who played Jason Voorhees. So why isn't he more well-known? Let's take a look at a few reasons why he may have been overlooked. Well, Hatchet got a limited theatrical release. It was more of an underground horror hit, as it started out in film festivals in 2006. Hatchet also came out around the same time that Saw and Hostel films were blowing up, and people weren't really checking out for old school slashers or slashers that were in film festivals, unlike now. You know, a movie can make it or break it in a film festival. Look at The Substance. Look at Smile. It was also marketed as an 80s throwback, but casual horror fans did not connect with the nostalgia. This is one of my favorite films. This is a friggin' cult classic now. Hatchet is a great franchise. Why does Victor Crowley and the Hatchet series deserve more love? Kane Hodder gives one of his best performances. It's like Jason cranked up to 11. The kills? They're friggin' insane. If you love practical effects, Hatchet delivers some of the bloodiest, most creative deaths in horror. I mean, I love this because of the blood, guts, and ass. He's pure, unapologetic slasher villain in an era that was moving away from slashers, you know? But I definitely think you need to see this. Hatchet and Victor Crowley need more love. If you haven't seen or watched Hatchet, do yourself a favor and check it out. Just be prepared for the gore. Oh my God, the lots of love, blood, gore, and the comedy in Hatchet is great.
Boy.
Next, we've got Angela Baker from Sleepaway Camp, one of the most unique and controversial horror villains out there. But ask the average horror fan about her, and they'll probably just remember the movie's insane twist ending. Why was she overlooked? Well, one of the reasons I think she was overlooked was the twist ending overshadowed everything else about the movie, including Angela as a villain. It was also released during the time of the Friday the 13th slasher craze, so it got buried under Jason's success, as well as you had Nightmare on Elm Street coming out and many other films and vampire films on top of that. The sequel also leaned into a more of a dark comedy, making Angela more of a campy killer than a terrifying one. Why do I think Angela deserves more love? Oh my lord. One of the first horror's transgender villains. Whether intentional or not, Angela was groundbreaking. I mean, at the time, huge groundbreaking. And I think that also got missed. A rare female slasher villain, which we still don't see enough of today. Movie producers, what the fuck? Come on. We need ourselves a female icon like Jason. Her kills, well, they were creative and they were campy. Definitely not your typical slasher formula, but she still deserves love. Angela is one of the first female villains, slasher villains, that is in a franchise. All right? Angela Baker deserves a lot more recognition than what she receives. If you can handle the campiness of Sleepaway Camp, it is a must watch.
You have no idea how much cardio I have to do. It's ridiculous.
Why so much?
Well, you gotta be able to run like a freaking gazelle without getting winded. And plus, there's that whole thing of making it look like you're walking, and everybody else is running their asses off.
Oh, right.
And I gotta stay with them.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Last but not least, we've got one of my favorites, Leslie Vernon. If you love meta horror like Scream, you need to watch Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Why was Leslie overlooked? Well, this movie went from film festival right to DVD, and it did not have the same indie buzz as other films. The mockumentary style made it hard for casual horror fans to understand what it was trying to do. I thought this was friggin' brilliant. Even though it's brilliant deconstruction of slashers, it didn't get the Scream level marketing push. Marketing is so important, man. Majority of people had no idea this movie existed. And marketing, I think this movie would have been more if they marketed this film better. If it got that Scream level marketing, right? The hype around this film could have been so much more. Why do I think Leslie Vernon deserves more love? It is one of the smartest takes on the slasher genre. It blends comedy and horror perfectly. Leslie is a very likable character, making him totally different than the usual masked killer. His kills are strategic. He plans his murders like a slasher villain in training. I love that there is more movies like this coming out. My Bloody Axe Wound is another really good film that is coming out, or it's already out. I would suggest watching that. Marketing, 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 guys. That's what's going to help any of these films. If you love self-aware and clever horror movies, Behind the Mask is a hidden gem. Definitely go out and check it out. So there you have it. 3 horror villains who should be way more iconic than they are. But now I want to hear from you. Who do you think is the most underrated horror villain? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I have way more that are underrated, but these are just the 3 that I'm deep diving today. And if you love horror content like this, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a scare. I'll see you in the next one. Stay spooky, ghouls.